I awoke to a harsh, sterile light glaring down at me. My head throbbed, and as I tried to move, I realized my wrists and ankles were restrained. Panic surged through me. Where was I? The room was cold and clinical, filled with unfamiliar machines emitting soft hums and occasional beeps. The walls were sleek, metallic silver, devoid of any windows or decorations. A sense of isolation settled over me. Before I could gather my thoughts, a door slid open with a soft hiss. 3 figures entered, their appearances both mesmerizing and otherworldly. They were tall and slender, with skin that shimmered in shades of blue and green. Their eyes were large, luminescent orbs that seemed to pierce through me. One of them stepped forward, her gaze fixed on me. Specimen X is conscious, she announced in a melodic voice. Specimen X. I managed to croak out, my throat dry and scratchy. Where am I? Who are you? The alien tilted her head slightly, as if considering my questions. You are aboard the research vessel, Celestia. I am Dr. Zephyra, and these are my colleagues, Dr. Nixera and Dr. Alara. We are xenobiologists studying various life forms. I struggled against my restraints, a mix of fear and confusion swirling within me. Studying? Am I your prisoner? Dr. Nixera stepped closer, her expression softening. Not a prisoner. You were brought here for observation after we detected your unique energy signature. Energy signature? I echoed, trying to make sense of her words. Dr. Alara nodded.
Yes.
Your species emits a distinct bioelectric field that intrigued us. We mean you no harm, Specimen X. My name is not Specimen X, it's... I paused, a sudden realization hitting me. I couldn't remember my own name. A wave of fear washed over me. Dr. Zephyra placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. Memory loss can be a side effect of the stasis field we use to transport you. It should return in time. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. What do you want from me? We wish to learn about your species, Dr. Nixera explained. Your biology, your culture, your experiences. In return, we offer knowledge of our own. Despite the bizarre situation, a spark of curiosity ignited within me. The opportunity to learn about an alien civilization was a once-in-a-lifetime chance. All right, I said cautiously. But no more calling me Specimen X. Until I remember my name, call me Alex. The 3 exchanged glances. Then Dr. Zephyra nodded. Very well, Alex. Let us begin. They released my restraints and helped me sit up. As I rubbed my wrists, Dr. Alara handed me a glass filled with a translucent liquid. Drink this. It will help with the disorientation. I eyed the drink warily, but decided to trust them. The liquid was cool and surprisingly sweet, and as I swallowed, a soothing warmth spread through me. Dr. Zephyra gestured towards a nearby chair. Please, make yourself comfortable. We have many questions, but we also understand this is overwhelming for you. I moved to the chair, still trying to process everything. I have questions too, I said, looking at them. If we're going to do this, it should be a two-way street. Dr. Nixera smiled, a gesture that seemed both familiar and alien. Agreed. We are as eager to learn from you as you are from us. Over the next few hours, we began a tentative exchange of knowledge. They asked about human anatomy, our societal structures, our history. In turn, they shared insights into their advanced technology, their methods of space travel, and glimpses into their culture. As the conversation flowed, I found myself growing more comfortable. The initial fear began to ebb, replaced by genuine curiosity. These beings, though different in appearance, exhibited emotions and behaviors that were surprisingly relatable. At one point, Dr. Alara leaned forward, her eyes shimmering with interest. Tell us about your planet's art. How do your people express creativity? I thought for a moment, then spoke of paintings, music, literature, and dance. I described the vibrant colors of a sunset captured on canvas, the haunting melodies of a violin, the intricate steps of a ballet. Dr. Alara listened intently, her expression one of fascination. Such diversity in expression, she mused. Our art is more uniform, focused on symmetry and precision. Art reflects the soul, I replied. It's a window into our emotions, our experiences. Dr. Zephyra nodded thoughtfully. Emotions are a complex aspect of sentient life. We experience them differently, more subdued. Your descriptions suggest a depth we have not encountered before. As the hours passed, fatigue began to weigh on me. Noticing this, Dr. Nixera stood.
You need rest.
We can continue our discussions later. I didn't protest. The day's revelations had left me exhausted. They led me to a small, but comfortable room equipped with a bed that seemed to mold perfectly to my form. Before leaving, Dr. Zephyra paused at the doorway. Rest well, Alex. We have much to explore together. As I lay down, the events of the day replayed in my mind. The fear, the confusion, the unexpected connection. I had awakened in an alien lab, surrounded by beings who viewed me as a specimen. Yet beneath the clinical detachment, there was a genuine desire to understand, to connect. As sleep claimed me, I couldn't help but wonder what the coming days would bring. In the days that followed my awakening aboard the Celestia, a routine emerged. Each morning, Dr. Zephyra, Dr. Nixera, and Dr. Alera would join me in a spacious chamber bathed in soft, ambient light. The room was designed to foster comfort and openness, with seating arrangements that encouraged face-to-face interaction. Our conversations began with the basics. They were eager to understand human physiology, societal structures, and cultural practices. I, in turn, was curious about their species, their technology, and their way of life. Dr. Nixera, with her analytical demeanor, often led discussions on biology. She was fascinated by the concept of human aging and mortality. Your lifespan is relatively short compared to ours, she noted one day, her luminescent eyes reflecting curiosity. How does this influence your society and personal relationships? I pondered her question. Knowing our time is limited makes us value our experiences deeply. We form bonds, pursue passions, and strive to leave a legacy. It's a driving force behind our creativity and ambition. Dr. Alera, who had a keen interest in human culture, leaned in. This urgency you feel, does it affect your art and expressions? Absolutely, I replied. Many of our greatest works are inspired by the transient nature of life. We capture moments, emotions, and stories, hoping to preserve them beyond our existence. She nodded thoughtfully. In our culture, art is a means of communication and record-keeping. It's less about emotion and more about conveying information. Dr. Zephyra, who often observed more than she spoke, finally interjected. Emotions play a significant role in your decision-making processes, don't they? Yes, I admitted. While we value logic, our feelings often guide our choices, for better or worse. She seemed to mull over this. Among our kind, decisions are primarily driven by logic and collective benefit. The individual's desires are secondary. As days turned into weeks, our discussions grew more personal. They shared stories of their homeworld, a place of shimmering landscapes and harmonious living. In return, I recounted tales of Earth's diverse environments, from bustling cities to serene countrysides. One evening, as we sat together after a particularly engaging discussion, Dr. Alera brought out a device resembling a translucent tablet. With a few gestures, she conjured holographic images of their art forms, dynamic patterns of light and color that shifted in mesmerizing ways. This is a traditional piece from our culture, she explained. It's a visual representation of a historical event. I watched, entranced by the fluidity and beauty of the display. It's incredible, I said softly. So different from our static paintings or sculptures. She smiled, a gesture I had come to recognize as one of warmth. Would you like to try creating something? Me? I was taken aback. I wouldn't know where to start. Dr. Nixera handed me the device. Think of an emotion or memory. Use your fingers to draw or shape it. The device will interpret and enhance your input. Hesitantly, I began to move my fingers across the surface. I thought of a sunrise I once watched from a mountaintop, the sky ablaze with colors. As I gestured, the hologram transformed, capturing the essence of that memory in swirling hues. The three scientists watched intently. Dr. Zephyr's eyes seemed to shimmer brighter than usual. "It's evocative," she murmured. Encouraged, I continued, adding elements that represented the crisp morning air and the sense of awe I felt. When I finished, the hologram was a vibrant dance of light and color. Dr. Alera placed a hand on my shoulder. "You've conveyed a profound sense of wonder and tranquility. It's beautiful." A sense of accomplishment washed over me. "Thank you for sharing this with me." Dr. Zephyr nodded. "This exchange enriches us all. Through understanding each other's perspectives, we grow." As I retired to my quarters that night, I reflected on the day's events. The initial fear and confusion of my captivity had given way to genuine connection. Despite our differences, we were finding common ground, building bridges between our worlds. Lying on the comfortable bed, I couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. What other discoveries awaited us? How deep could this connection go? With these thoughts swirling in my mind, I drifted into a restful sleep, eager for the possibilities of tomorrow. As the days aboard the Celestia turned into weeks, my relationship with Dr. Zephyra, Dr. Nixera, and Dr. Alera deepened. Our initial formal interactions evolved into genuine friendships, built on mutual respect and curiosity. One morning, Dr. Alera invited me to experience a traditional form of their art. She led me to a chamber filled with floating orbs that emitted soft, harmonious sounds and gentle lights. "This is our Luminar Symphony," she explained. "It's an immersive art form that engages multiple senses simultaneously." Intrigued, I stepped into the center of the room. The orbs began to move in a choreographed dance, their lights pulsing in rhythm with the melodies they produced. I felt enveloped in a cocoon of serenity, each note and light resonating deep within me. After the experience concluded, I turned to Dr. Alera, my voice filled with awe. "That was breathtaking. It's unlike anything we have on Earth." She smiled warmly. "I'm glad you enjoyed it, Alex. Art is a universal language, even if the mediums differ." With Dr. Nixera, our bond grew through shared intellectual pursuits. She was fascinated by Earth's medical advancements and often sought my insights. "Tell me about your planet's approach to healing," she inquired one day. I described various medical practices, from ancient herbal remedies to modern surgical techniques. She listened intently, her eyes reflecting a deep interest. "Your species' resilience is remarkable," she remarked. "Despite the challenges, you continuously seek ways to overcome ailments." I nodded. "It's in our nature to strive for better health and longevity." Our conversations often extended into personal territories. Dr. Nixera shared stories of her upbringing, the rigorous training she underwent to become a xenobiologist, and the challenges she faced in her career. "On our world," she confided, "there's immense pressure to excel. Failure is not easily accepted." I offered a sympathetic smile. "I understand that pressure. Humans, too, grapple with expectations and the fear of failure." Dr. Zephyra and I found ourselves drawn to deeper, more philosophical discussions. One evening, as we observed a distant nebula from the ship's observatory, she turned to me with a contemplative expression. "Alex, do you believe in destiny?" she asked softly. I pondered her question. "I'm not sure. Some humans believe that our paths are predetermined, while others think we carve our own destinies through choices." She nodded thoughtfully. "Among my kind, there's a belief that every encounter is fated, that the universe brings beings together for a purpose." I met her gaze, sensing a deeper meaning behind her words. "Do you think our meeting was destined?" "Perhaps," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've learned more from you than I ever anticipated." Our eyes locked, and an unspoken connection passed between us. In that moment, the boundaries of our species seemed to blur, replaced by a profound understanding. As our bond deepened, I began to notice subtle changes in their behavior. Dr. Alera's laughter became more frequent during our shared moments. Dr. Nixera often sought my company outside of our formal discussions, and Dr. Zephyr's gaze lingered a bit longer during our conversations. One evening, after a particularly engaging discussion about the nature of emotions, Dr. Zephyra hesitated before leaving. Alex, she began, her voice uncharacteristically hesitant, I've been reflecting on our interactions. There's a connection I feel, one that transcends our professional relationship. I felt my heart race, sensing the gravity of her words. I feel it too, Zephyra. She stepped closer, her luminous eyes searching mine. Among my people, forming such bonds with those outside our species is rare. Yet, with you, it feels natural. I reached out, taking her hand in mine. Perhaps it's a testament to the universality of connection, regardless of origin. In that shared moment, we acknowledged the bond that had formed between us, a bond that defied the vast distances between our worlds and the differences in our beings. As the days continued, this newfound closeness enriched our interactions. We were no longer just researcher and subject or even friends. We had become confidants, companions navigating the uncharted territories of interspecies connection. The Celestia no longer felt like a mere vessel. It had become a home, a place where understanding and affection bridged the gap between human and alien. As my time aboard the Celestia continued, the bond between Dr. Zephyra and me grew undeniably stronger. Our conversations often extended late into the night, delving into topics both profound and personal. One evening, as we sat in the observatory, the vast expanse of stars stretching out before us, Zephyra turned to me, her luminous eyes reflecting the cosmos. Alex, she began softly, there is something I must share with you. I sensed the gravity in her tone and nodded, urging her to continue. Our mission to study your species was not solely driven by scientific curiosity, she confessed. There is a deeper, more personal reason. I remained silent, allowing her the space to reveal what weighed on her mind. On our homeworld, she continued, we have legends of a species that embodies both resilience and profound emotional depth. A species that, despite its vulnerabilities, thrives through connection and love. When we discovered humanity, we believed you might be that species. Her words hung in the air, and I felt a mixture of surprise and curiosity. You think humans are the beings from your legends? She nodded.
Yes.
And as I've come to know you, to understand your capacity for emotion and connection, I believe it even more. I took a deep breath, processing this revelation. What does this mean for us, Zephyra? She reached out, her hand gently clasping mine. It means that our bond is not just an anomaly. It is something foretold, something destined. The word destined resonated within me, recalling our earlier conversations about fate. Do you believe our meeting was preordained? I do, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. And I believe that together, we can bridge the gap between our species, creating a future where both can thrive in harmony. Emotion welled up within me, and I squeezed her hand. I feel the same way, Zephyra. Our connection feels right, as if it was meant to be. In that moment, the vastness of space seemed to shrink, leaving just the two of us in our own universe. The barriers of species and origin faded, replaced by a profound understanding and affection. As the days passed, our relationship deepened. We spent more time together, sharing stories, dreams, and hopes for the future. The crew of the Celestia noticed the change, and while some were surprised, most were supportive, recognizing the unique bond we shared. One evening, as we stood on the observation deck, Zephyra turned to me, her eyes reflecting the myriad stars. Alex, there's something I wish to show you. She led me to a chamber I had not seen before. Inside, holographic images floated in the air, depicting scenes of her homeworld, lush landscapes, towering crystalline structures, and beings that resembled her, moving gracefully through their environment. This is my world, she said softly. I wanted to share it with you. I was captivated by the beauty before me. It's breathtaking, Zephyra. She smiled, a hint of sadness in her eyes. I wish you could see it in person. Perhaps one day, I replied, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. She turned to face me fully, her expression serious. Alex, would you consider staying with us? Becoming a part of our world? The question took me by surprise. I had grown fond of Zephyra and the crew, but the thought of leaving everything I knew behind was daunting.
I
I don't know, I admitted. It's a big decision. She nodded, understanding evident in her gaze. I don't ask this lightly. I know what it means for you, but I believe that together we can achieve great things. I looked into her eyes, seeing the sincerity and hope within them. I need time to think, Zephyra. Of course, she replied, her hand gently squeezing mine. Take all the time you need. Over the next few days, I wrestled with the decision. The bond one shared with Zephyra was undeniable, and the prospect of exploring a new world was enticing. Yet, the thought of leaving Earth, my home, was equally daunting. One night, as I lay in my quarters, a realization dawned upon me. Life is about embracing the unknown, taking risks for the things that matter most. And Zephyra mattered to me. The next morning, I sought her out. Finding her in the observatory, I approached, determination in my stride. Zephyra, I began, I've made my decision. She turned to me, hope flickering in her eyes. I want to be with you, I said firmly. I want to explore this connection, wherever it may lead. A radiant smile spread across her face, and she stepped forward, wrapping her arms around me in an embrace that felt both alien and profoundly familiar. Thank you, Alex, she whispered. Together, we'll create a future beyond our wildest dreams. As we stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, I felt a sense of peace and anticipation. The journey ahead was uncertain, but with Zephyra by my side, I was ready to face whatever came our way. As the Celestia continued its journey through the cosmos, the bond between Zephyra and me deepened, evolving into a profound connection that transcended the boundaries of our species. Yet, amidst the serenity of our shared moments, a lingering question loomed. What would become of us? One evening, as we observed a distant nebula from the ship's observatory, Zephyra turned to me, her luminous eyes reflecting the swirling colors of the cosmos. Alex, she began softly, have you thought about what lies ahead for us? I nodded, the weight of the decision pressing heavily on my mind. I have. It's not an easy choice. She reached out, her slender fingers intertwining with mine. I understand. Leaving behind one's home is a monumental decision. The truth was, I had grown to love Zephyra deeply. The idea of parting from her was unbearable. Yet, the thought of leaving Earth, the only home I had ever known, filled me with trepidation. Days turned into weeks as I grappled with my feelings. Zephyra gave me the space I needed, though I could sense her own uncertainty mirrored in her eyes. One night, unable to sleep, I wandered to the observation deck. The vastness of space stretched out before me, a reminder of both the unknown and the possibilities it held. As I stood there, Zephyra joined me, her presence a comforting balm to my restless thoughts. Alex, she said gently, whatever decision you make, know that I cherish the time we've shared. Her words, filled with sincerity and love, pierced through my doubts. In that moment, I realized that home wasn't just a place, it was where the heart resided. Turning to her, I took both her hands in mine. Zephyra, my home is with you. I choose to stay. A radiant smile spread across her face, and she embraced me, our hearts beating in unison. From that moment, we began to plan our future together. The Celestia would continue its mission, and I would become an integral part of the crew, bridging the gap between our species. Our love, born in the sterile confines of a laboratory, had blossomed into something beautiful and enduring. Together, we would explore the universe, hand in hand, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, under the canopy of stars, our journey continued, a testament to the power of love, transcending the vast expanse of space and the differences between worlds. As the Celestia continued its voyage through the cosmos, my bond with Zephyra deepened, and I became an integral part of the crew. Together, we explored uncharted territories, sharing knowledge and experiences that enriched both our lives. One day, while assisting Dr. Nixera with an experiment in the ship's laboratory, an alert sounded, indicating an incoming transmission. The message was from the High Council of Zephyra's homeworld, Lamora. Gathering in the communication chamber, we listened as the Council's envoy delivered a surprising message. Dr. Zephyra, your mission has yielded unprecedented insights. We are eager to meet the human, Alex, and propose that you both return to Lamora to present your findings. Zephyra turned to me, her eyes reflecting a mix of excitement and apprehension. Alex, this is an extraordinary opportunity. But I must ask, are you willing to journey to my homeworld? The prospect of visiting an alien planet was both thrilling and daunting. Yet, my trust in Zephyra and my desire to further our shared mission gave me courage. Yes, Zephyra. Let's embark on this journey together. As the Celestia altered its course toward Lamora, Zephyra shared more about her world, a place of shimmering landscapes and advanced technologies harmoniously integrated with nature. Her descriptions painted a picture of a utopia, and I couldn't help but feel a growing anticipation. Upon our arrival, Lamora exceeded all expectations. The architecture was both alien and breathtaking, with structures that seemed to float amidst lush greenery and cascading waterfalls. The Lumorans we encountered greeted us with curiosity and warmth. The High Council convened in a grand hall adorned with luminescent flora. As Zephyra and I presented our findings, detailing the cultural and emotional complexities of humanity, the council members listened intently. After our presentation, the council's leader rose. Alex, your insights into human emotion and resilience are invaluable. We propose a formal alliance between our species, fostering mutual understanding and growth. The proposition was monumental. An alliance could lead to unprecedented advancements and cultural exchanges, benefiting both our worlds. As discussions progressed, Zephyra and I found moments of solitude amidst Lumora's serene landscapes. One evening, under a sky filled with swirling galaxies, Zephyra turned to me. Alex, do you ever wonder if our meeting was more than mere chance? I looked into her luminous eyes, feeling the depth of our connection. Perhaps it was destiny, Zephyra. Two souls from different worlds brought together to bridge a cosmic divide. She smiled, and we embraced, knowing that our journey was just beginning. Together, we would navigate the challenges and wonders that lay ahead, united by love and a shared vision for a harmonious future between our species. And so, under the vast expanse of the universe, our story continued, a testament to the power of connection, understanding, and the boundless possibilities that arise when two worlds come together.